when they reorganize the inheritance procedure, they will need a power of attorney for some legal representative to take over the whole process for them. Because they wouldn't know. Most of your inheritors will not be residing in Spain. You will, they will not. And they will need a legal firm to organize for them the inheritance process. Plusvalía and costs associated to the process. Right. The process is, your lawyer will have to apply a special certificate called Certificate of Last Will. And the Certificate of Last Will is applied in Malaga, the closest province to your municipality. Once we got the certificate of the last will, and also the death certificate, together with the NI numbers, power of attorneys, calculation of assets, values assigned by the tax authorities, I mean, it's a quite long list of requirements, then you will go, or your lawyer with the power of attorney will go to the notary public to sign on your behalf, of you if you want to be there as an inheritor, the title deed of the inheritance. It doesn't mean that when you sign the title deed of the inheritance before the notary public that you are already the inheritor. It means that it's just the previous process, because after that, after the title deed of the inheritance is signed before the notary public, we need to send the title deed to Madrid if you are non-resident, or to the Spanish tax authorities if you are resident, to be stamped and to pay the corresponding tax. Once these two steps are made together, is already finished, the title deed of the inheritance will be sent or will be presented in the land registry office, which your property belongs to. That is a process that will take more or less between 30 and 40 days. And by then, only by then, you are the inheritor of the property. So, your bank accounts will be unblocked, and then you will become the inheritor. Then you can sell, you can rent, and then you got the disposition, the ownership of your Spanish property. After this happened, the registration of the property, you have to pay the plusvalía. This plusvalía is a municipal tax that goes to the town hall, which will be calculated depending on the town hall and also depending on the number of years that the last transmission happens. So if you're doing inheritance today, May 2011, and the last title deed was 4 years ago, the calculation will be based on that time, that period, number of years, and also on the value assigned by the town hall. The other costs associated to the inheritance tax, of course, will be the legal fees of your lawyer. Then you will have to pay as well the notary fees to the notary public, the taxes of the inheritance procedure. Depending if you died here or you died in your own country, you need to pay a translator, which is an independent service that you are contracting, independent to your lawyer. And then finally, the land registry fees that you will need to pay as well for the registration. And the plusvalía, as I already mentioned. I cannot give you a exact figure. I know you would like to know, but I can't because will depends actually. I wouldn't be worried about the cost and plusvalía associated to the process. I will be worried about the value of your total estate, which actually is what I said before. It will depend very much how much you will end up paying in inheritance tax about how you have planned with you and your inheritors. So, get your father's rights. You need to know, and your inheritors need to know as well. If you die in Spain, your funeral takes place within 24 hours. It will. Actually, it will. That's how a Spanish system works. It will take place much more quicker, as I said before, than in your original country. And the most important part will be that the death certificate must be submitted within 24 hours after the death happens. Yeah, any family member, your own lawyer can do it as well. But it's something that you have to remember, because after 24 hours, the process gets very complicated. Now, if your bank accounts are not managed properly before you die, they could be frozen for years. They could. If you got, for example, a bank account in which the deceased person owns 50% of the balance, don't think that the 100% of the balance will be frozen. It will be just the percentage that the deceased person had in the bank account as a Spanish bank account holder. If your assets are not enjoying multiple names, your inheritors will not be able to do anything with them or sell them. As I said before, if you haven't really planned and your inheritors are not really aware of the process, and you are not changing the ownership of the property, and you're not going through the inheritance procedure, you cannot really go through any sale or any rent. You cannot really make that property or that total estate value cashable for you, if you like. You couldn't. Another thing I would like to mention with regards to that is that I'm not sure if I mentioned before. It's about I mentioned before about the 4 years of statute of limitations. So if for some reason no one did anything about it, the tax authorities after 4 years cannot collect the tax. So directly, they will register the property directly into the inheritors with a Spanish will. Well, I mentioned before, foreigners have free disposition. So again, I can't stress enough how important is that. You have to make sure you make your Spanish will, because otherwise the process can take up to 3-4 years, and you will make your inheritors' life quite difficult in order to reorganize the ownership of your Spanish assets. The law of cessation and donation. The law of cessation and donation is applicable the same as the inheritance tax law. So don't think because it's a gift or it's a donation, they're not paying taxes. Actually, it pays exactly the same as the inheritance tax. It will not be reduction, it will not be exemptions. Right, the tax breaks for residents. As I said before, the tax break for residents, if you are official resident, your inheritors are official resident, they undertake not to sell the property for 5 years, you are registered in the town hall, you are registered, you got your certificate of residencia in Spain, and don't forget that this is different because the police station, they don't give anymore that card, the residencia card. What they give you is a plain page like this, confirming you are resident in Spain. But remember, and I know I'm reciting on this, but remember that is not sufficient. You also, even if you are a pensioner, you should be registered in the tax office, you should be registered in the town hall, you should have this certificate of residencia, and you will be able to benefit of the tax breaks, and can be up to 95%, and in Andalusia, in some of the cases, some of the provinces, up to 99%. So actually, you end up paying no tax at all, because as I said before, if the Spanish government protects very much the family, and you are leaving your assets to your spouse and your children, they've got also the exemption to apply, the reduction. So they will end up paying no taxes. Well, as any law firm, we will provide the service. As I said, it's important you gather the document. It's actually surprising when I sit down sometimes with my clients or people that want to make inquiries, because I offer free legal clinics every Friday in my office from 10 to 1. And sometimes, as I said before, inheritance procedure is a very, they're very interested in knowing how is the process, because as I said, there are a lot of lack of information. But I can't stop being surprised of how many people, they don't even remember whether they have a Spanish will or they don't have a Spanish will. Did I sign a Spanish will? Oh, I bought my property 7 years ago, but I don't remember. Maybe it's with my lawyer. what your Spanish will is doing with your lawyer. Of course, your lawyer has to have a copy in his file, but why you don't have a copy? You should have your own copy. Your inheritors should have their own copy. They must be aware what is going on in order to avoid surprises. And not only the surprises, I think the surprises are actually not important at all, but the huge inheritance tax payment they will end up paying. So, we will prepare the Spanish will, of course. We will advise you, depending on your personal situation, what is the best route to go. We will compile for you all the necessary documentation. Again, some people not find the will, but they don't find even the title deed of the purchase. So this documentation must be in place. NI numbers, applications, power of attorney, all these documents, I can really tell you that within 24 hours, you cannot really compile all of this. You need to be prepared. So it's important that you take notice of this. We will prepare the power of attorney, and we will apply for the NI numbers application, and we will inform you about which documents we need to prepare. What we do as well as a service, annually we will contact you and we will ask you a few questions in order to know whether the situation have changed, whether your inheritors have changed, whether you have to modify a new will. We will substitute the previous will, and then we will gather everything. And this is my seminar. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you at least to give you some guidance. Thank you very much.